This Am I the A-hole thread literally made me gasp. Spoiler alert, yes, he is the a-hole. So this one, am I the a-hole for wanting my wife to stay up during a road trip and talk to me? I'm writing this now at the hotel where I am at because I am genuinely at a loss for words. I don't think I'm really in the wrong, but at the same time, she looks really pissed at me. My wife and our 2-year-old are going on our first family road trip to California. We rotate driving in shifts, but the problem is that when I was driving, my shift fell during the night and I was feeling really lonely and bored as I was driving. I'm not someone who can be left to his own thoughts very well, and I need people around me. I thrive on energy and excitement. My wife is a bit of an opposite. She's generally fine with being left alone and can sit quietly for hours upon hours. The problem is, around 11 p.m., I was driving and my wife and son were in the back seat, asleep. I was feeling isolated, so I shook her awake, but then our son woke up. Well, you can probably guess what happens next. Once he quieted down, my wife began to quietly blow up at me about how much of a dick I was being. I told her that it wasn't fair for her to just sleep like that, and it made me feel like a driver. She then said that she doesn't force me to stay awake or engage with her, but I told her that's a cheap blow because we're not the same people. And I kept my mouth shut while she was driving because I know she doesn't like distractions, even though it bothered me terribly. So the least she could do is stop being selfish and help keep me sane. Despite my perfectly logical answer, she apparently got emotional and started whisper screaming some shit about how raising one toddler is hard enough, and that she didn't know there was another one in the car who needed his whims catered to at every moment. At that point, since she got rude, I decided to disengage. Now our whole trip is falling apart, and she's making me out to be the bad guy. This comment kind of sums it up. Any guy who would describe himself as logical and his wife as emotional in the same sentence is automatically an a-hole. It's pretty logical that she would want to sleep after a full day of driving. It's pretty logical she wouldn't want you to wake up a screaming baby. And he was being very emotional and waking her up just so he could feel less lonely and bored. Generally, dudes who go right to the logical and emotional defense think that they're smarter than their wives, and they are clearly always right because they are guided by masculine logic and their wives by hysterical feminine emotion. And I don't know what logical man would wake up a woman who has a toddler in any sense, let alone a driver. That's not logical. And this person said exactly. He was projecting his shortcomings onto her. Plus, loneliness and boredom are emotions and feelings, not logic or reason. He is double, triple, quadruple the a-hole. This needs a bit more exploring, and I'm going to explore and give a little bit of what I think in part 2. So this is the part 2 for Am I the A-hole? And I absolutely believe that he is the a-hole. Waking up a mom at 11 o'clock and she needs to be shook, so she's clearly knocked out. That is an a-hole move, even if they weren't driving to California. Moms are typically the go-to parent, period and full stop. And kids are draining. Initially, they are a lot of work. They need a lot of attention. So that's an a-hole move already. And it didn't matter. He wasn't waking her up because he was falling asleep. He was waking her up because he didn't want to be alone and he needed energy and excitement. Number 2, he acknowledges that they are different people. And since he gave what he said was a logical answer, she should have just taken his logical answer and acquiesced to him. He's not thinking that logically speaking, she is a different person as well and that they have different needs. All he could think about was his particular needs. In this case, he is king baby. King baby. This is all like my attention, what I need. So at this particular point, he's not using logic because a logical adult would say, my wife is tired. She needs energy for this baby. She needs energy to actually drive when it's her turn. But all he is thinking about is his needs at this particular point. And he still is not getting the fact that he is the a-hole. This is a comment from someone else. When I read the title, I assumed the OP was asking his wife to stay awake and talk to him so that he didn't fall asleep at the wheel. I've gone on many road trips with friends, and whoever drove the night shift always had one person staying awake to chat with them or sing songs so the driver wouldn't fall asleep. If that was why the OP was asking his wife to stay awake, it would have been acceptable. But the OP's excuse for waking his wife up are awful. I'm bored and lonely, so I gotta inconvenience my wife and kid. Yes, that is an a-hole. It is not very adult to not be able to sit with yourself and process your own feelings. This person said, man's just not someone who can be left to his own thoughts very well. And I need people around me. I thrive on energy and excitement. That sounds exhausting, especially at night while his wife and child are sleeping. That does sound exhausting. That sounds like an exhausting relationship, and she'll probably get tired of it. I'm tired just thinking about somebody waking me up in the middle of the night because they're lonely or bored. I got kids. I'm tired. People deserve to be able to sleep as well. Anywho, you guys go ahead and weigh in and let me know what you think. I thought that he was the a-hole simply from the very first part, but you guys let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share.